Okay, folks, here we are, day 21. Yeah, this has definitely been a process. Let me turn this around so you remember where we were when we last met. I hated the yellow. I put some pink, and then I went over it with the the quinacridone nickel azo gold, and added a little bit of that pyrrole red in here, some white, and I liked it better, but it's just way too vibrant. And part of me wants to just take all the flowers out and see what I get there. And it looks like flames, honestly. Like all of this orangey stuff looks like flames to me. So I kind of want to put just one flower here and take it back to just being really simple. So yeah, and just kind of playing up the textures that are in here. Maybe I'll do that first. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll take out these flowers. If you got attached to these flowers, I'm sorry. That's how this process works. Yeah, and just see what the texture under here looks like, and then see what calls to me next. It's often responding, right? I'll do something and then I'll respond to that, and then I'll do something else and then respond to that. So I had the yellow, I didn't like the yellow, so I responded with pink. I put the pink, it was too muted, too meh, so I wanted to spice it up, so I added that. So now I'm responding to that and wanting to tone it down and let all these flowers go. What I'm loving is all of the texture that's in here, and there are elements of this that if I hadn't done all of those layers, you wouldn't have all of the subtlety of variation. And that's what I talk about with my paintings. I love that you're sucked in and you want to look and see what's back there, and all of the stuff that came before creates that. So I'm kind of thinking that's what I want to do today. I've spent some time kind of thinking about how I want to summarize this challenge, and I'll do that at the end. But for now, in the spirit of discovery and play, that was my intention for this piece. I just want to go in and see what I get. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I was ready to start. Let me go start the timer and I'll be right back. Okay, I have a wet brush here, somewhat wet, and I think I'm just going to kind of go in with a lot of white. If this is painful for you to watch, you may want to fast forward through this section. It can sometimes feel jarring, especially if you've gotten attached to something. My body wants to make, I think I need to move to bigger canvases too. And like there's a shape right here that wants to come out. Let me try and get the color I'm looking for. Too light. It's like super peachy colored. It's like super wet now. maybe. Looks like that. I like that color though, actually, that kind of peachy color. Let's let that sit. And then, what am I looking for? Let's kind of see what we get. Soften these edges over here so it kind of looks like it's just, oh, I really like that right there. Already I'm liking it so much better. Was just, as much as I love that Quin Azo Gold, which is such a luscious color, it was just overwhelming. It was overwhelming. And this is going to sit in with those nooks and crannies already. And you can still see some of that other color shining through. Let me tilt this a little bit. Oh, look at that right there. Fabulous. Okay, let's see. This paint is too wet now for me to get. Anything like that. I don't know if I like that there. Okay, let me get the timer. Okay, so 21 days. Let me turn this around and we'll see where we landed. Let me see if you can see that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think that's straight for you. Okay, loving it again. It's not done. So let's talk for a couple of minutes about this challenge. And I've been sitting with what I've learned, and I just want to share this journey. I mean, you've been with me on this journey, and I appreciate you being here and holding space for me while I did it. And when I think about what I've created over these last 21 days, I've actually created 2 finished paintings. This was the first one from a palette clean off page. This was the second. So these are 2 completed paintings. I've created 4 other works in progress. So this is one. This one, which looks crazy, but I have a vision for. I've got my big landscape, which is too big to see, that I will work on. And then I just sort of started sketching and playing with some ideas. So that's what this one is. I don't know what that'll become, but that's just there. So what is that? I've created 2 finished paintings and 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess if you count this 5 works in progress. over that 21-day period. So I've also created a lot of time in my head, more than I thought I would, which I thought was really interesting. I created a lot of frustration. This was a very frustrating challenge for me, which it wouldn't be a challenge if it were without its challenges. So what did I learn? I learned that my end result for this piece, the structure of this challenge did not support my end result. So my end result for this piece was discovery and play. And what I learned was that 5-minute structure did not allow me the time to play and discover and go on this journey with this piece, which is why I would get so frustrated, and also why I didn't always stick to the timing. So in that sense, I really did not do well on this challenge at all. The other thing I learned was maybe that wasn't the point of the challenge. You know, initially I thought 5 minutes a day for 21 days. Okay, the idea is go to one canvas, be really loose. You don't have a lot of time to do a lot of finessing and da-da-da-da in that 5 minutes. But then what I came to realize, while some of that might be true, there's a saying that it takes 21 days to form a habit. And maybe the purpose of the challenge for me was to paint every day for at least 5 minutes for 21 days. And I did that with one exception. I had one day where I didn't paint. And I actually thought about coming up here. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. And I finally got a quiet house and some time to myself. And I thought about coming up, and I didn't end up doing it. And I thought, well, technically it's tomorrow anyway. And so I just sort of let it go. But I think that of all the things I experienced in this challenge is the thing that has served me the most. I had it in my calendar, and I would come up here and do it. And often it would be the first thing I would do in the morning after, you know, the dog was fed and all that other stuff, the baby's taken to school. And that has served me immensely. So for that, I'm incredibly grateful. Did I finish this painting in 5 minutes a day for 21 days? I didn't, but damn, I'm close. And this is the happiest I have been since the very beginning. And it kind of came to me earlier this morning that this is what it wanted. It wanted quiet. It wanted just a single beautiful flower and that conversation right here. And so as the paint is settling, you can see the texture coming through, and all those colors and everything that was in there, none of that is lost. It all just adds to the beauty, in my opinion, of it. So, you know, what am I going to let go of? What have I learned, you know, that doesn't serve me? The idea that I have to, what are the words for this? There's an element when you're filming your work where, in my mind, I try to put it in the back of my mind and forget that there's a camera on. And at the same time, there's an element of pressure that I put on myself for feeling like I need to prove that I'm an artist. It's my own imposter syndrome, right? And it's time to me for me to continue to let that go. I created a watercolor the other day. I've been doing watercolor at the same time. It hasn't been associated with these painting sessions, but I have one, and it's a bird. And it was one of these where I just sat down, and it was a 3-stroke painting. You know, it was water on the page, drops of acrylic ink, and it just moved, and the painting painted itself. And when I talk about being an intuitive painter, that's what I mean. It's my hand made those motions with that water to create those shapes, and the ink just filled it in, and it's a beautiful piece, and I just left it that way. I posted it on my Instagram, and I'll post a picture here at the end as well. and I called it SOAR. And yesterday, there's a group of folks in an Expanded Possibilities membership. I'm a life coach, and that's the organization I got my certification with. And every year we do this end of year completion. And as part of that, we look at, what are all the things I've created this year, very similar to what I did with this challenge. And I asked myself, what's true for me to create in this coming year, 2023? And I got to soar, to spread my wings and soar. And as an artist, what that means is letting go of any sense of chasing external validation, which as an artist can be such a challenge. Because what do? You entered your work into shows that are juried. You put your work out there for people to comment on and to judge. I film these things and put them on social media. We are constantly exposing ourselves, and that sense of vulnerability inherently comes with, for me, a fear of judgment. And at the same time, that's why I do it, because I know it's true for me to express myself in the world this way and potentially inspire somebody else to do the same who may not think that they're an artist either. And so, that's why I do it. So that's what I'm going to continue to work on letting go of this year. And where my energy wants to go next, I want to create bigger pieces. The other night, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't sleep, and I wanted to come up here. I have this 24 by 24 canvas, 24 by 30 canvas that's kind of been sitting over there. I have a 36 by 36 piece over here that I've had open for years, that I've started on, and my body wants to make these big movements. And so I want to do that. I want to create a body of work this year and potentially do that in oil and cold wax. Although I have to say, this effect that I've gotten with acrylic is the type of effect that I really love and go for with oil and cold wax. So who knows? It might be a little bit of both. And I would love to have my work in a gallery this year. So I'm putting that out there. Just for my own accountability, and because it scares the crap out of me to say it out loud, but that's what I'm getting to do. So that's where we are. I will continue to film my progress with this piece. And if you're still interested in the journey and where it lands, I would love for you to join me on that. And thank you for being here. This has been an amazing challenge. And thank you, Lou Stein, for the inspiration and for cheering me along the way. And for all of you that have commented to me in person or online, I appreciate your insight, your feedback, and just being on the journey with me. Happy New Year. Bye.